Hello, all you beautiful, wonderful, amazing, spectacular tea people. It has been quite a while. I am happy to see you again. Uh, Today, what do we got? We got the Old Master Dong Ding, which I don't think I've done on a live stream yet. It's already been sent out to a bunch of people. It's been a long time. This here is a tea that I bought sort of in the wintertime. It's a Muza, and I'm testing to see whether it's bug bitten. I think it was bug bitten a little bit, but I bought it in sort of in the wintertime around the Chinese New Year, and then it's been sitting on a shelf for a while, and I haven't had it for a while, and I'm trying to figure out how to get some bug bitten teas for next month's subscription box. But why don't we get into it now? Today we're going to drink these teas. We'll talk about them a little bit. Also, too, we are going to. There was a really good question from somebody in the Discord, and so we'll talk about that for about 5 minutes. Why has it been so long without a live stream? The simple reason is simply it's been a rather tough month for the Mountain Stream Teas family, and it's nothing. I'm not complaining, not saying anything bad, and whatever. It's just been a tough month. There's been lots of stuff going on. Nothing is unexpected. Well, some of it's unexpected, but just a bunch of small things happening, one after the other, and of course, one of my children gave me a cough, right? So I've had a cough, but nothing bad. I didn't, lose any work or anything. Anyways, it's been a rough month for us here. But thanks to the wonderful people that are probably, if you're watching this, you're probably one of the amazing people that have supported us through this rough month. Thank you very much. Nothing to do with the tea. Although there is one thing to do with the tea, which I might have to sue the Taiwanese Postal Service. But it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. It's okay. Well, I can talk about that some other day. But anyways, that's why it hasn't been haven't been doing a lot of content, a lot of live streams. But again, everything is fine, and mostly thanks to all the people that support me, my family, and my friends in buying tea. So thank you much. Any updates before stuff? I don't think so. The 2001 Muza Tieguanin is so good. It is, and it's just going to get better. It's just going to get better. And that one, of course, it's on the site right now. I got to make sure that I bought all of it, right? The only people in the world that can drink the 2001 Muza Tieguanin is us. We're the only people in the world that can drink that tea because I bought all of it, and it's a spectacular tea. It's only going to get better with age, and it is one of my favorites. I am drinking sort of roasted teas right now because now again, what we're going to talk about sort of first is this harvest season, why this spring harvest season was so good, what makes spring harvest season so good and or bad, and all of those different things. And we'll go into the Old Master Dong Ding. But I mean, it's the Old Master Dong Ding. I think I mentioned it the other day. I sampled it, and I was just like, So Mr. Su, the man who makes it, I think he's almost 90. And he's got bad hearing. And so my wife phones him up and screams in the phone. And I think I mentioned this in another live stream, but anyways, we bought a bunch this year, and he's like, "How much do you want?" And my wife was like, "We want this much," and he said, "What?" So my wife just had to scream this very high amount of tea because it's so good this year, and it's got like a little bit of spice in it. And anyways, the reason I'm choosing to drink it right now, I haven't done it on the lives. Oh, it's so good. I haven't, but it's Old Master Dong Ding. If you've had it before, you know. And the reason I'm drinking it right now is because it's been cool and wet for about we had like a week of summer, and then it's just been cold and wet the whole springtime. Super psyched to try the Old Master Dong Ding this year. It's great. It's the Old Master Dong Ding. It's great every year, but this year is exceptional. And most of the teas on the site right now are actually exceptional. except for, well, it's not on the site, but I was quite disappointed with the Louis Red, unfortunately. Anyways, the question was, why was this year's harvest delayed? Why was it late? And what makes a good harvest and what makes a bad harvest? So before we get started with all of that, I have to give you the it depends. I'm losing all my English. Thing that you put a disclaimer. There we go. Disclaimer. So the tea disclaimer. What is the tea disclaimer? Of course, this is only talking about Taiwanese tea. This is generally speaking talking about high mountain oolongs. This is not to be universalized to every single tea. I don't know how it works in Japan. I don't know how it works in China. This is talking about Taiwanese tea and in general high mountain oolongs. There's a disclaimer. So what makes a good season? Very, very simple. It's holographic universe time. What makes a good turnip? Well, maybe not a turnip. What makes a good tomato? What makes a good carrot? What makes a good everything that is sort of this style agriculture products? It's very, 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 very simple. It is stable, cool cool nights and evenings, warm days, and maybe a little bit of rain, but not too much rain, consistently for about a month. And then right before the harvest, a dump of rain, and then beautiful, warm, slightly humid, dryish days for a week, and then you harvest. Same with basically everything you could possibly imagine, right? Same with apples, same with cherries, same with tomatoes, every agricultural product you could possibly imagine. And I actually wrote the quote when I was in the Discord, but the quote simply is, every good marriage is good for the same reasons, and every bad marriage is bad for different reasons. And it's exactly the same with harvests. Exactly the same with harvests, right? There's no exception to that. It's exactly the same with harvests. And so, I'm going to go here and try this out. A bad harvest. How does a bad harvest work? Very, very simple. What I just described doesn't happen. It's either too cold, it's either too warm, it's too wet, it's too dry, it's too something that didn't fit that holographic pattern for basically every agricultural product you can possibly imagine. If it doesn't fit that agricultural, same with every single agricultural product you can ever possibly imagine. Well, I mean, obviously there's exceptions. That's too big, but in general, that's what's going to happen. So, say for example, if it's too cold, then what the shoots that come up when it does get a little bit warm, they're going to be small and bitter. If there's too much rain, then the shoots that are going to shoot up are going to shoot up too high, and the flavor is going to be completely watered down. There's no flavor there. If it is too warm, then the tea will grow too fast, and you'll have teas like this and teas like this and teas like this, and it'll be basically impossible to process because everything will be just all over the place, right? Everything will be all over the place. It'll be impossible to process. And so what you're looking at is all of the different ways that it can go wrong, but the way that it goes right is like that. It is same as maple syrup, right? I use maple syrup as sort of the what, like, I could talk for days about cherries, apples. I've worked on cherry and apple orchards. I know about maple syrup because I grew up in Southern Ontario. And so you got these things where you have to have this consistent cool, warm, sort of dry, cool, warm, and then some rain, and then stability of just, warm. And then you're getting it. You're getting as much maple syrup as you want. You're getting, the plump, juicy cherries that are just amazing. You're getting everything that you could possibly want in those situations. Yeah, I can include this. That's bug bitten enough. So I can include this in next month's order. I'm also going to go through all the teas that I've got packed up here. I'll pick out another one of the for next month's Bug Bitten Beauties. All of these things here. I got a message from my buddy on Chilai Shan, who is doing the Golden Green, the Alpine series of teas, and he was showing me what they were picking right now, and they were like picking like by hand. Like when they're picking like hand like this, they're going to make some good but expensive tea. Probably bug bitten. But that'll be something special. I can't wait to try that. And I'm getting in order samples that should come today of the Eastern Beauty. So the Eastern Beauty, Oriental Beauty stuff will be coming in. The samples will be coming in soon. Any questions about that? What makes a good harvest? What makes a bad harvest? Throw it in the chat, and I will answer more to your heart's content about anything else. And any other questions, throw them in the chat as well. So basically what we're looking at now is we have all of the classic teas, all of the teas that we usually get. They're in stock. They're being sold right now. If you're watching this, you probably already know, but I extended the sale. The code is Old Master 26, all one word, 10% off all the newsletter teas. That's extended, I think, until, well, Friday for most of the world, but Saturday night for here. So wherever you are in the world, if it's Friday, you're still going to get 10% off because I added in the Jasmine Green Oolong. Sorry. I've been packing a lot of tea. I'm losing. Anyways. So that tea is on there as well. Just look at the newsletter, search for the newsletter teas, and it's still 10% off for about another 36 hours from when this is posted. I've been drinking a fair bit of the Alpine Honey Red and love it. Yes. Well, it's almost, I think I've got maybe only 100 grams left of it. And I'm hoping that that's what they're making out of this, because if they're making the Alpine Red out of this, I was looking at the pics that he was showing me, and it's gonna be good. If that's turned into whatever they turns that into, it's gonna be good. Absolutely. Do you mind explaining why the Louis Red Oolong missed the mark this year, and what you're usually looking for in red oolongs? Yeah, sure. That's very, very easy to talk about. I think I have it right here. Oh. Anyways, this is my throwing things space. Anyways, when you're looking at red oolongs, you want a red oolong. And what do I mean by that? I mean, you don't want 100% oxidization. You want an oolong. And if you get 100% oxidization on something, that's not an oolong anymore. That is a black tea. Now, the problem with processing red oolongs, and why it is mostly done on the east coast of Taiwan, and especially sort of why the southeast is so famous for this tea, is because there is a big difference between the water content of an oolong and the water content of a black tea. So think about a black tea. A black tea it's manipulated, right? So you break and so it's wet, but it's much easier to dry because you've broken the stems, you've manipulated the leaves so much that the evaporation of the water, when you actually want the water to get out of there, is actually really easy to do because you've broken down so much of the tea. Oolongs are completely different, right? So if I pull out something in here, right, the stem, everything's intact. You're not manipulating this as much. And because you're not manipulating this as much, there's a heck of a lot more water left in it. And because there's a heck of a lot more water left in it, if you're not careful, you can rot, I guess would be the word. In Chinese, you probably say guo tola, which means like oversleep. The context would be like oversleep or overdone, And so basically what it means is you're oxidizing something to get it to be rotten or rancid. but not as strong. Like those are strong words. It's not like that. It's just you're doing it too much. And because you're doing it too much, what that means is you're getting a wet black tea. Now, I don't know if you've ever had a wet black tea before, but wet black teas suck. They're heavy. They have, they're heavy. They're clawing in your throat. They are not so much bitter and astringent as more muted and flat and kind of gross, like just, and they don't have depth. And that's the key. They don't have depth. They don't have, where the heck did I put it? Anyways, they don't have depth. Anyways, it's there's a point last month where I was getting about 20 samples a day. And so I literally just have these drawers, just full of little packages of tea. Anyways, the point is that this year the Luye Red was Guotola. They oxidized it too much, and it went too far. And because it went too far, it created a flavor that is noticeably flat, noticeably underwhelming in the sense of depth, and something that I wouldn't be comfortable putting my name on. Also, very, 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 very importantly, those types of teas, because they have too much water in them, tend to go bad. And teas do go bad. If there's too much water in them, they do go bad. Those types of teas tend to go bad much, much faster. Within like 6 months, they're like, they taste funky. And unfortunately, that was the case this year with the Luye Red. So hopefully that answers the question. I understand that picking on a rainy day can have a negative impact on the tea. Are there other factors that can similarly impact the flavor from one day to the next? Mr. Owens, I don't know how deep you want to go into that tea nerd question, but the biggest one is moisture. And it can be rain. I'll give you an example. One time I was up on Pear Mountain, and this is when I was first starting out, and it was a beautiful day. It was so amazing. It was just the perfect weather. Everything was perfect. And I helped with the processing, and I was like, oh, look at me. I'm a tea maker. Right? This is back in the day. And then all of a sudden I started hearing in the back of my, like, oh no, he screwed it up. Oh, he messed it up. Oh no. And what had happened was there was a bunch of tea that had been left on the roof outside and had gotten dew on it. So this tea up on the roof had gotten dew on it. So it was wet. And they were like, oh no, what do we do? So they brought it down and they worked feverishly to get it out onto racks and to put fans all around it. And they tried to dry out these tea leaves in a way that would make the tea, like the tea was salvageable. You still make the tea, but it was too wet. And I didn't really think about it too much. I thought, these are professionals. They'll be able to do it. And then when I got back, they asked me, they said, which day do you want? I'm like, I want the day that I made, and I bought it and I tried the tea and I was like, this is terrible. Now it wasn't terrible, right? They still could sell the tea, but it wasn't as good as the other days that I had sampled, because that small mistake of somebody leaving, and again, that was maybe, I don't know, 10% of the tea made that day. They had left it out and the dew had gotten on it and it had gotten wet. Also too, and this is one that like, I don't know how far, again, I don't know how far down the tea nerd path you want to go, but when they were bringing it down and throwing it on the trays and doing things like that, they were being rough, right? You knock those tea leaves and those bruises will turn into bitterness and astringency. And so that double whammy of that made it so that I got this tea, and I was like, I don't want this tea. And so I literally drove for like 6 hours the next day back up. And I was like, I am sorry. I know you sent me this tea. I don't want it. And they looked at me and they just laughed and laughed and laughed. And they said, you drove up this morning? And I'm like, yeah, can you give me another day? They're like, no problem. And they've been sort of best friends, best tea friends ever since that day. Because it was my mistake, my hubris. I thought that I was a good tea maker. I wanted the emotion of that day. But that day, out of the whole harvest, was the worst one because of that mistake. So if it's a rainy day and the tea is coming in soaking wet, you can just imagine what happens, right? You can imagine what happens. Another thing that I just said in there as well is if the pickers are in a bad mood, the processors are in a bad mood, if they are manipulating the leaves in a rough way and not taking care, that really affects the taste of the tea, right? It really affects the taste of the tea. I got to drink some of this. This tea is, on a day like today, this tea is perfect. It's like an overcast, like 150, 60% humidity type of day here in June in Taiwan. But I can wear pants today and socks and not get so dehydrated that I fall over. Oh, it's so good. It's just, there's nothing like it. It's just the best. It's just the best. So that's another example. You can go in depth as much as you have time. Always great to hear about the firsthand experiences. Yeah. And so think about another way to think about it. What's another way to think about it? Well, it's just, should I say it? Oh, I'm going to say it. It's care and love. It's care and love. And I don't talk about the woo-woo stuff on here. There's lots of people that can do the woo-woo stuff. I don't sell the woo-woo stuff, but I 100% acknowledge that it's real. But that is what affects the tea the most. But here's the problem, and it's a big problem, and I have to deal with this problem all the time, is if someone is doing the right thing, if someone is doing organically, if someone is not cheating and doing things in a way that is cutting corners, if someone is doing the right thing, sometimes, no matter what you do, no matter how much care and love you use, it's just not going to taste that good. Just the way it is. It's just the way it is. And I wish it was another way, but, you know, life doesn't work that way. And so there's sometimes where I will just buy a little bit of tea, even though the tea isn't that good, because I want to support my friends and I know it's not their fault. Right? So we talked earlier about what makes a good harvest and what makes a bad harvest. Well, what if everything that happened to make a bad harvest happen and it had nothing to do with the care and the love of the person who's making the tea? Well, what am I supposed to do, right? Am I just supposed to say, like, you know, like, you're my friend, I respect what you do, I want to support you, but this is bad, I'm just not going to, no, I still support them, right? I've said this before. I find the people that have no connection to the people who make their tea, but still sell tea, I find that distressing. I find it distressing. You know, I do. I don't think that's a good way to live your life. I just don't think it is. And so, you know, one of the most important things you got to do is be able to connect what you consume to who you are as a person and who made it as a person, right? You know, and so for me, it's always one of those things where I am constantly, you know, weeding out those things out of my life, just weed them out of my life. Because it's just not worth it. Right? It's just not worth it. Right? You are what you consume. You are what you consume. And you know, we're an extremely frugal family. Like my family is extremely frugal, like, and not on purpose. We're just like frugal. And, like my boys will wear their shoes into the dirt. It only takes like a month, but their shoes will be like full of holes. They'll be like, time to change it. Or like, they'll come home and you'll smell it and you'll be like, okay, time for some new shoes. Yep, time for new shoes. But what we don't skip on is food, what we consume. And I think spending extra money on a pair of shoes that have a brand name is idiotic. But if you're not spending a lot of money on your food, got to be careful. See, we're going into woo-woo land. We're going into woo-woo land. I started talking about Karen Love, and now we're going into woo-woo land. Anyways, I think that is about what I wanted to cover today. So today we got the YouTube going, we got the Instagram going. Any other questions? What's coming in the next little while? I think all the teas that I have are on the site, except for there are the Purple Bud Torchas. Those need to go on. Oh, and I didn't even mention it before, but they're at the warehouse, or the warehouse, aging away. But I just got in 40 more of this year's Grandma's tea balls, and so I will release those probably before the summertime, probably late June, or like the next tea release, because I've tried them and they're beautiful. I'll do a live stream with them one of these days. They're amazing. If you like that type of thing, right? Like if you're used to sort of the Taiwanese flavor factor, you like only drink the high mountain oolongs. Like I had this. One of the things about life is that when things start going annoying, like everything just gets annoying. I had this woman come in the shop. My wife was there, and she was just a person that I would never choose to spend time with. And she's like, I only drink Jintren. I only drink Jintren. Some Jintren. And she's like, Taidanla, right? Which basically means it's too light, which basically means she was from China. And, which basically means that she's claiming that I'm screwing with her by not making it strong enough, because in that culture, if you don't make your tea brew really, really strong, that means you're brewing it light to basically, she's saying I was messing with her in that context. And my wife literally had to hold me back. And I took out a sample and I stuck it at her and I said, go home and drink it yourself. I am giving this to you to go home and drink it yourself. And I was like yelling at her to get out of the shop. Anyways, that's never happened before. It did happen that day. My poor wife. Anyways, whatever. Yeah, it's been a month like that. Suggestions for letting it sit for any amount of time for the 2026 Old Master Dongding. Absolutely no suggestions at all. Sometimes these teas, I don't release them until like July because the roast is too strong or just not feeling it. It's ready to go. Now, but Mr. Evans, the longer you leave it, the better it's going to be, up to about 5 years. Then from 5 to 15 years, don't touch it. And then after 15 years, it's going to be something spectacular. But the longer you leave it, the better it's going to be. That being said, how you store it matters, right? If you're going to open it up from the Ziploc or from the vacuum, put it in a Tupperware container. Make sure it does not see the air. Do it up, put it in a Tupperware container, put it away if you want to age it. It'll age fine. It'll age great. If you want to keep it in the vacuum seal, even better, right? But I would say right now, you don't have to let it sit at all. Now, there is the thing where once it travels for a while, Once you get it to your house, you let it sit for like 2 weeks. I think with pu'er, that's much more important. For Taiwanese oolongs, not so much, but I don't think it's going to hurt it. Like if you do that with this tea, I don't think it's going to hurt it at all. It can sit for maybe a week, but it's hard to do a double blind for that type of thing. The point is, in the sense of the roast, you don't have to wait right now. You can just drink it. It's ready to go. It really is. I mean, you can see the color of this thing is just, it's just true golden color. I'm sure you've explained several times, but how did you meet the old master? Oh, so I'm always looking for organic teas. And so what I did was well, not me, because it's hard for me to do research in Chinese. I did research in Mandarin. My wife did research in Mandarin, and she found this man, and he had experimented with doing organic tea. Remember, this is not organic tea, but he cares about organic tea. But he tried to experiment with it, and just sort of didn't work out about 20 years ago. And so she found him doing this. Now he is the youngest brother of this amazingly famous tea family. So if you can imagine that, right? So he's the youngest brother, and he was a teacher. And so he didn't really do the tea, although he didn't take the path of being famous for the tea. He was a teacher. But he was actually the tea master of Su San Pian, which is another friend of mine. So he was his uncle, and he was sort of the tea master. He taught him everything he knew about tea. But he was always sort of off to the side. And because he was a brother, he would get his allotment of the best teas. And I just did a lot of work, a lot of research. And by the time that I met him, that was 2019, 2018, 2019. I sort of figured out the way things work, right? You don't go to the famous person. You can go to the famous area, and then you drive 15 minutes out of the famous area, and you look for the good people, because the good people are all around there. Right? The really you don't go to Alishan to buy tea. You go to Alishan and drive 15 minutes to buy tea, because Alishan is just a saran wrapped blip of horrible crap, right? It's disgusting. There's like 10 convenience stores, a bunch of buses. Anyways, the point is, I was like, oh, let's go see this guy. And so I went to go see this guy, and we just hit it off. We just hit it off, and I started buying the tea from him, and just having that relationship with him, because I had done that, found his tea, and it just sort of grown from there. And he, in the past, he had only sold to a couple different people, and he would actually have trouble selling his allotment of tea because he wasn't the famous brother, and he didn't really care. He didn't really care. And I get the feeling he doesn't even really like tea that much. I just get that feeling. I don't think he's excited about, wow, can you bring me this tea? Can you bring me that? I want to try this. I want to do this. I want to experiment. He's not that excited about it. Right? He does what he does. He is, I would argue, he's one of the best tea masters for what he does left alive in the world. And I think there'll be a lot of people that would agree with me. And he just doesn't. We just made it to this point where basically I'm buying his entire allotment every year. And he's happy to do it because he's almost 90. He's like, and the way it works is he has a phone, but he has nothing else digital. And so he sends us these slips of paper, and then we use cash, and we go to the post office, and we send him this cash to his bank account. And he doesn't have a bank book or anything, and it's a small town and everybody knows him. And so what happens is the bank employees, when he gets a deposit, the bank employees go to his house and sit down, drink tea with him, and be like, your money came in. And so he loves it, right? Like, he gets this huge wad of cash that shows up in his bank account. And then somebody comes to visit him and tells him, you got this huge wad of cash. Like, talk about face, like he just gets it. And so it's this I wish I went to Nantou more. With a family and running a business, it's really, really tough. I mean, I go to Nantou like once a year, but I always love to go and visit, and he always loves to come in, when we come but that's sort of the story of how I met him. Good plan is to taste it. If it lands, then order some more for the next couple of years. Absolutely. Yes. And, like I said, this year we bought a bunch because it's good. Community. Yes. Well, that's it. Right. And that's what probably the people watching this right now have lost. It drives me absolutely crazy. But those, it's good and bad, just good and bad things about the community, anyways, if you can out there to get back into the woo stuff, try and build some community. Try your damnedest, your hardest to be able to pull that off. Living in a small place like this, we do our best. And I'll tell you, there's so many times I go up to the mountains, I see my buddies up there, and I'm just like, I'd like to live here. And then I'm like, what's the school like? But anyways, any other questions? I've got to sign off and go do stuff. But yeah, so that's why there hasn't been too much going on in the sense of content. And yeah. Sale is still on until, well, I guess about 36 hours from right now. Glad you enjoyed the information. I want to share as much information as I possibly can because I want everybody to be able to choose the right thing, whether it is from me or from other people. Yeah. So thank you for watching. Wherever in the world you happen to be, I hope you have an absolutely amazing morning, night, evening. I hope you sleep well. I hope you have the best rest of the day. I hope your day tomorrow is a wonderful one as well. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next live stream.